Welcome to Ringside with Kayla. Today I am here with former WBC Continental America's champion, Andy Vences. Andy, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Now, to get started, we are here in your new gym, which will be opening up very soon. What was the whole process like in starting up in the new gym?
Oh, it was tough. It was tough. It was I didn't plan on opening a gym. A lot of people say, hey, congrats for your new gym, but I really didn't plan on opening a new gym. It was kind of a circumstance that happened at the prior gym I was working at. And due to the fact I saw the effect it had on a lot of families at the current gym I was working at, that's when I realized I had to do something. I needed to take action just because we were parted ways like family. And it was not in my plans to open a gym. The process has been more than I expected, but in a good way. In a bad way money-wise, but in a good way as far as I've had the family and the coaches, the kids' dads to help me here, and it wouldn't have been possible without them. So I honestly am truly blessed. My life is completely gonna change from here forward, so I'm super happy. And like I tell a lot of people, in your 20s, you're starting to figure out your life. You can't be so hard on yourself because you won't have it figured out till later. But I'm truly blessed to have a new purpose. I wake up very motivated, just like I did as a boxer. I wake up at 4:20 every morning to teach class, to train people. So I'm very happy I found my purpose because I was in a very dark place before this.
And you retired over a year ago. After retirement, did you know you were going to eventually end up in coaching? Or what was your thought process after you retired?
After I retired, it's a good story. After I retired, I figured I gotta be a normal person. I gotta go back to the norm. I need a job, I need benefits. Right after I retired, I signed up for electrical school. I got into an electrical program. I got my ET card. I graduated the program successfully. I applied to many jobs. I even passed an apprenticeship exam to be an electrician, which I'm glad it didn't happen because if anyone knows me, they know I don't like fixing things. I really don't have patience. But anyways, I was going this route to be an electrician. I was applying, I was doing everything, I was dying for a job, I needed money, I didn't know where I was gonna go. As far as training clients, I had even blocked off my schedule because I knew I was gonna start work. And for one reason or another, it didn't happen. I wasn't getting the jobs, I wasn't getting called, so then I really needed some financial stability. Me and my wife, we have a home, so I have bills, I have a mortgage, so I was just I was super impatient. It was a very horrible place to be as far as patience because I'm a very impatient person. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to go all out on training people. I need money. This is what I love to do. I'm just going to open up my schedule. So sure enough, I opened up my schedule. I met a lot of clients, a lot of people. I was just doing my thing. I was like, when I get the call to be an electrician, I'll just switch over and do what I have to do. That call never came. Call never came. Every month passed, my faith and my hope went down. To be an electrician just went down and down. And it was then, I'm not going to mention the name on camera just to be respectful, but I got a call to work at a gym. And if anyone knows me, I'm very quick for change. I believe change is good. There's a lot of fighters and a lot of people who, they're not good with change, but in order to grow, you need to change. So I was training clients out of my mom's garage. I had converted to a gym. Long story short, first I was at a salon, then I went to my mom's garage, which I was currently at, until I got the call. So when I got the call, I told my mom, hey mom, yeah, I want to not own a gym. I told her I'm going to train at a gym. She was like, oh, you're not going to be with me no more? Because I was paying rent there. I am paying rent there. And I told her, no, I'm going to work at a gym though. I'm going to be connected with a lot of people. I'm going to meet fighters. She goes, yeah, but you're not going to be home. I said, hey mom, remember, in order in life to grow, you need to be uncomfortable. And she goes, yeah, that's true. So then she goes, you're still going to pay me rent, though, because you rent the unit in the back. And then I said, okay. Or rent one of the rooms. I want one of the rooms in the house. So I told her, that's fine. I'll still pay you. Don't worry. So I started working at this gym. And I think a lot of the kids and a lot of the people, they found out who I was, they knew who I was, and I'm sure my credibility went up there once they knew who I was, so they respected me more as a coach. And even the people I work with treat me with respect, super, super great people. So long story short, we had a fallout. The front desk, along with one of the coaches that I work with, they ended up leaving. And the gym family was impacted in a way where I felt the same way I did as when I retired. I felt in a very dark place. I felt very unhappy. Even though I was coming to train the kids, I felt unhappy as far as who I was working with, the environment. I didn't feel I was being true to myself. My wife knows we went through a lot. I was drinking after teaching clients. I was drinking at night just to kind of relax, to get my mind to go to sleep. Same thing the next day I would train clients. And I would drink. I was getting in a habit of drinking a lot. It was becoming an issue. I have a very addictive personality. So whatever I do it 100%. So when that started, I started really doing it. It did cause problems in my relationship, and it was when my wife pulled me to the side and said, if you don't stop this, like, I don't want to be with you no more. And when that happened, that's why I told you it was very good to have great friends around you. I'm not going to mention his name off camera. I don't know if he wants me to, but I have a friend who's a pastor, and he met up with me. We went out for dinner, and it was then he sat me down and he said, hey, look, I got a call from your wife. Like, I really don't want you to go through this. Like, you need to have more faith in God. Like, just be true to yourself, and, I want to pray for you. So we sat in the car, and ever since then, I always took my wife's advice very serious. I didn't do it no more. And ever since that night, my life just started changing. I left the gym. I went to go rent at a gym. And we were there temporarily because I made a decision I was going to open a gym. But financially, I needed a little support because to open up a gym, it's not cheap. I'm very blessed to be well connected with some very good people in my family. And I have a very close uncle that knows me and knows how responsible. If there's one thing about me, people know I'm very responsible when it comes to money. I don't have debt. I don't owe nothing. So he said, you know what? I've got your mom's word. I'm willing to lend you this much, but I want it back in 2 years. I said, done. We made the deal. I'm very happy because I actually just raised $5,000 that I promised that I would give back to him by December. That was like part of the deal. He said, make me feel comfortable and give me at least something by December. I said, I got you. I'll give you $5,000. So I have them already. I'm going to give them to him next weekend. The deal is I got to pay him back in 2 years. So with that being said, I was looking for a location. Me and the other coach didn't like the location because it was upstairs. But I told him we need to open the gym now. We have all the clients. We're renting at a gym and we have so much momentum because we haven't won. It just happened. We can't slow down the momentum. It's just like in boxing when you're coming up and you're on this ranking, you're fighting, you're active in the ring, you have momentum. You got to keep going. You can't stop. So I said, let's do it. I signed a lease contract under my name. I'm obviously the owner of the gym, but I like to say it's our gym because we're like a family gym. And then, I've gone through this process, and I'm about to open the gym. Technically, I'm going to be running classes as of next week, but I'll officially have the grand opening on November 9th. And all I can say is I'm blessed to be around positive people. And I think once I changed the circle of kind of the friends I was associating with, my whole life changed.
And speaking of positive people, you've been with your wife for quite some time. How has having her by your side and her support helped you in your boxing career as well?
I mean, she's been with me since an amateur, so she would always go to my fights as an amateur. And I tell people, the kids that do have girlfriends in our gym, I don't tell them it's a bad thing. There's a lot of coaches that say it's bad. But your girl's either going to motivate you or distract you. So sometimes I think it's really good. There's a kid who goes here and I said, hey, I used to invite my girlfriend at the time to every fight. I never lost a fight. And the days I did invite her were the days I lost for the tournaments. But it was more motivation for me. But my wife has supported me tremendously. Honestly, I'm very grateful to have such a great person with such a big heart. All the designs on these bags, she designed them. She's done a lot of the back end help. that a lot of people don't see. Everything that's been designed and kind of color coded was her idea. So I love my wife. I love you, babe. She's been a tremendous person, and so have everyone on my team. I still stay connected with Mike Basil and a lot of people in boxing. They have given me a lot of business advice. I have a lot of clients that have helped me start this gym, give me business advice. A Day, Sharif. There's just so many people involved that played an impact in all the decisions I made to this gym.
And whenever you first retired, what were those first few months like for you, and like having to adjust to a different phase of your life, where you just came from a sport where it's extremely demanding, and it's extremely demanding on your body, both physically and mentally. What was those first few months like for you, having to adjust to something completely different?
I still miss it every day. I like fighting. I love fighting. When I think about it, I get emotional because I've been boxing since 14 to 32. I never thought the day would come where it would end. Sorry. But it did. It did come to an end. And I'm just very happy I'm here, that I'm able to turn the page and move forward. But something I miss every day. I love it so much.
You've had such a great career, and whenever you reflect and look back at certain highlights and moments throughout your career, what are some moments that you can think of where it genuinely makes you proud?
I look back at some fights, and then I see what I got through, see how it happened, and then I just think to myself, just because my life's changed so much, I don't work out as much. I work out with the class in the evening and whatnot here and there. But I just realized, like, damn, bro, you really did that. Like, that was you. Like, you really did that. Like, even when I look at clips of the footage of spar, some of the top pros, I look at it and I go, damn, dude, you were that guy. Like, I'm looking at myself and I'm telling myself, like, damn, you were that kid. You were that guy. I would say I was one of the biggest fighters in San Jose to actually make the noise and make a name for himself, being signed to such a big promoter like Top Rank. What can I say? I'm blessed. I made money to where I was able to go someplace with my wife. I was able to actually get married and have a wedding. Like I said, I was not in debt in any moment. We bought a home together recently, and now I'm opening this gym, and she'll have a big announcement soon. And I've just been very fortunate to have made the money I made as a boxer, because a lot of boxers don't reach those heights. And I know I didn't make a ton of money, but to be able to reach 6 figures as a local boxer starting, I think you've reached some success, especially fighting on ESPNs multiple times and pay-per-view. Once you reach those limits, it means you've made it pretty far.
You coach a lot of amateur fighters. What do you think amateurs should know when it comes to coming to the sport of boxing, when it comes to making sure they know things about the sport financially, or working with business promoters, managers? What do you think those amateurs should know if they want to come into the boxing world?
Oh, that's a long question. That's a long answer. But there's just so much to know that they need to be very aware of. One thing is obviously the manager percentage, the trainer percentage. I don't know if anyone knows, but in California, the manager percentage, the normal manager percentage should be 33%, and the trainer percent should be 10%. So right off top, that's 43%. Technically, whatever you make, slice it in half, if you're on those terms. So like if you made 100 grand, that's basically 50 grand. And not only that, on that money you make of the 50, you got to set aside, from what I've learned, put aside 15 to 20% for taxes. So out of those 50, now you're looking at 30. So even though you made the 100K check, you're left with like less, if you're on those terms with a manager and a trainer, that 43%. So there's a lot of things for them to know at a professional level. Another thing is your contract. Read your contract. Read your contract. Don't trust what anyone says. Not that don't trust what anyone says, but don't think that that person's going to be around for so long. I opened this gym in memory of my manager. It's called Stone Boxing. His name was Herb Stone. The reason why I'm mentioning this, read your contract, is because when I got signed to Top Rank, I was looking at the amounts of money I was going to get paid, and I was like, hey, like, minimum of making this. He said, don't worry about it. You're going to get more than that. And I said, yeah, but it says on paper I'm only going to make this much. He goes, Andy, and I remember what he told me. He started laughing and said, Andy, don't worry. I'm going to be here for a long time. By the time you're done boxing, I'll still be alive. And I know what to say because he was right there. He was waiting for me to sign the papers. So I signed the papers, and who would have known I won my title. And after I won my title, he found out. I think he got a call that they told him, you have cancer. You only have this amount of time to live. Pretty much passed away. And then what happened was I was being managed by Brad Goodman, but I just felt like my purses were being whatever was being offered I had to take, because technically I didn't have a manager anymore. So I didn't know. I mean, I could trust them, but at the end of the day, you don't have someone like going over your contracts. So that's my advice to everyone. Read the contracts. Like, don't assure someone's going to be alive forever. I never would have expected my manager to pass away from cancer. And even getting past that was super hard. I want to keep his name living, so I opened the gym. We got this idea from one of my old trainers named Angel Cordone. And my wife had reminded me that why don't we name it Stone Boxing, like Angel had mentioned, and that's why we opened it. But that's one main advice I would say is the manager percentage, trainer percentages, and read your contract. And don't believe what everyone says, because if it's not on paper, it's not going to matter.
Out of all your experience as being a pro, what would you say is the number one thing you've learned, whether it be the hard way or something you just learned eventually?
What I would say that I've learned throughout the sport, something that, maybe the hard way would be change is good, right? You're going to change trainers. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. You might have that same trainer for so long, but at some point, sometimes, not saying all the time, I don't want people to start commenting like, oh yeah, this, that. Sometimes you do outgrow the other. What's usually one or the other. Either the fighter's not listening to the trainer still stays outgrowing the fighter, or the fighter outgrows the trainer. In some sense, you will need to make a change. But when that change happens and you have a chemistry, don't break it. Or if you find that chemistry early on, don't break it. Whatever's working, don't break. Don't listen to a lot of the critics and a lot of the people. Oh, we should have got the knockout. Oh, we should do this, should do that. There's so much pressure, right? But if you're successfully winning these fights and being able to hit your opponent and not get hit, ignore what people say. At the end of the day, you want to have longevity in the sport. Yes, boxing is exciting and it's fun when we see an exciting fight, but it's not fun long term for your mental if you're taking punches. Whether it's boring, exciting, whatever it is, if you have the chemistry to win the fights and no one's able to beat you, stick with that trainer. I think that's something that I learned, I would say, the hard way. Or I ended up leaving the trainer that I worked best with, and then I ended up coming back a little bit when it was too late.
Earlier we were talking about amateurs. What was your amateur experience like, and how did you get started into the sport?
I got started at 14. I was doing martial arts at the time with my dad. And then I just got bored of it, and I sat in the truck one day and I told him, hey Dad, hey Pa, I don't want to do martial arts. Can I try boxing? And it was then he told me, like, I'm gonna find you a local gym. And he said, but if I don't see improvement in 1 month, I'm taking you out because you don't play boxing. But pretty much we would watch the fights with our family. We would watch the Oscar De La Hoya fights versus Trinidad versus Vargas, and I would just see all the fights, so I got curious, but I didn't even know how to get started. But as an amateur, I just want to let every amateur know, I only had 75 fights. I didn't even have 100. I had about 30 losses. I didn't win no national title. I didn't win anything. When I went pro, everyone just bypassed me as, here's a guy who didn't win nothing, didn't win a national title. Like, who is he? What's he going to do? Like, they just paid no attention to me. So if you want to do something, do it. I think social media really messes with people's head and thinking they should do things and they have to be a certain way. Even in life, like when we get, You know, you get married, you buy a house. The way you do things is like it's set up to be a certain way, but it doesn't have to be that way. And that's my advice to every amateur. Get the experience. Don't rush it. Don't try to be this youngest ever or whatever it is you're trying to aim for. Just be yourself. When you feel you're ready, go pro. Talk to your trainer. See how you're going to go about things. But don't put a rush to it. You guys are so young. You guys have time on your side. I didn't turn pro till I was 21. That's another thing. A lot of people go at 18, 19. I didn't go pro till I was 21, and look at how successful I was. So, you hear about it all the time. And if you could turn pro even at 25, you're still capable of being successful.
What was the adjustment like for you whenever you first turned pro, from coming into the amateurs and then turning pro? What was like some adjustments?
I would say the training, a lot of the training as far as like more time now. You're not coming to the gym 2 hours. Now you're doing your full hour in the morning, hour and a half, and then you're doing your 2.5 hours at night. So I would say just longer training, more intense, sitting down on your punches more. Now it's not about making points or winning fights by points. Now you gotta win fights to hurt people. And that's why I fell in love with it, because I was always getting in trouble at school. And when I turned pro, I felt it benefited me because I loved it when the rounds went longer, because I just felt I had more of an advantage. But I would say that's the main thing: endurance, conditioning, basically upping everything you do to be able to go more rounds and have more stamina.
I think it's really inspiring and really kind of you for you to use all of your experience and knowledge that you've had from being in the professional boxing world, and now you have your own gym and you're willing to share that knowledge. What do you hope the people or the amateurs, anyone that comes into the gym, what do you hope that they get from working out in this gym and just being around the family business?
I think, it's good you said that, the family business, because we're really like a family gym. For the fighters that are here, and then we always have members and clients who work out. Basically, I want to do workouts, learn combinations. Obviously, it's upbeat. It's in an environment where there's a lot of commotion, but I just want to be able to take them through the experience of the trainings that I went through. The amateurs, basically, to be able to focus. I've designed this gym in a way where I'm able to run class for people and fighters who have fights coming up in a couple weeks. They're able to kind of go to the other side of the gym and focus on their training. I know some of them get distracted a lot in class at the prior gym I was working at. And it's not to make anyone feel different, the fact that they're doing something different. But again, they're going in the ring. They have their lives on the line. So if anything, let's respect that, right? So I respect that. I understand when someone goes in the ring, they need to be a little more secluded, a little more private, so that they can focus mentally on what they're going to do. But I just want to take everyone through the experience, and I want everyone to be able to go through the experience as a boxer. You don't have to be a fighter to actually fight or do anything. You can hit the bag and you can actually learn stuff that you might use in real life. Self-defense, whatever it is a good way to stay active, and it's super beneficial for everyone.
And lastly, what are some words of advice you have to anyone that's nervous about entering the gym, starting something new?
I tell everyone, get out of your comfort zone, right? Again, you're not going to grow unless you don't get out of your comfort zone. This is a great gym to network with people. You got to remember, I got connected with these people that now work with me and help me by getting out of my comfort zone and going there. I keep telling everyone, the only way you're going to grow is out of your comfort zone. If I wouldn't have went and got that opportunity, I wouldn't have took it, and I wouldn't have went to that gym, I wouldn't have got connected. I'd be in the same spot. The move you're scared to take is the move that's going to change it all for you. So just don't hesitate. Don't be afraid to ask. And just, get out of your comfort zone. That's like my number one advice. And listen. Be open-minded to listen. Even me as a coach, I see things or I'll learn things that I see another coach doing. I'm like, you know what? I like that drill. I want to do it. So just, you got to be able to listen though. If you can't listen, it's not going to work for you.